Hello and welcome to That Band Life. My name is Jeff Young from Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Bobby Lambert, Director of Bands at Wando High School in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. That Band Life, a podcast about being a better band director. I know there's more to it, but you guys get the drift, right? Like, you've been around long enough to know that
happier, healthier,
more creative, more productive. We'll go for that.
Yeah. We're kind of off script today a little bit.
We are a little bit. Well, it's one of those things where this is the heat of the marching contest season. It's the heat of concerts for people. It's kind of the first real showing of the things that you've been working on since school began, or even right before.
Yeah, and before we get too much into the podcast, just to remind everybody, if you need some last minute shoes, gloves, rifles, sabers. Not sabers. Sabers are hard to come by a little bit right now. That. But kind of exciting. We've brought on another partner, somebody to help us with the sales side of things. His name's Philip. So if you have any questions about products or anything, just email Philip at dynamicmarching.com. He will get you all squared away. We're going to start carrying more products. We've recently had some conversations with some Style Plus and Drill Masters. And so whatever you need, we'll find it for you. How's that?
Including the ever popular plume bags.
Oh, yeah. Plume case bags, as always, have been very popular this year. Yep. At least a dozen orders from all around the country for plume case bags. And Jeff, people are really hard on those bags.
Yeah. Well, believe me, you throw them around. You're so angry at that point. That's the only thing you can throw around. Did you have this year a band that gave everyone a single link and each person had to fill that out again?
This is one of the reasons why we're bringing Philip on, because he's creating a portal where bands can do all their ordering. Did I tell you about this?
No.
I don't know. We'll tell everybody at once, including Bobby. He's creating this portal where individual parents can go in and order the shoe sizes and shirt sizes and all these things and then pay for it. But then the order will all get shipped in one time to the band director. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. It's like a real place now. Like, aside from this podcast,
it's a real thing. Into a real store, I think. Yeah.
Imagine that. Well, Jeff, I know we wanted to talk today about, this is kind of everybody's first full month back in, or for some people, it's probably like they're closer to 7th or 8th week, and they're getting ready for even a fall break at this point. So we're in a lot of different places right now, but I would say that everybody's in a place where they felt the stress and the pressure of new people, new staff, new students, new families, maybe new administrators, and the honeymoon is over. So now it's really kind of time to sort of sit down, gather your thoughts and see, okay, how do I make it to Christmas without losing my mind?
It's weird, isn't it? How you don't feel like any of your processes and procedures are worse than last year. Mm-hmm. And you have 3/4 of your band is the same kids and same parents. Most of your administrators are the same, and you make a few little changes and it's like, wait, what? Did I do everything differently this year?
Right. We've had more unique requests.
There's no bad questions, but there's some unique
ones.
Are
there not?
Is that what you're saying?
Okay. Cool. I think it's more of a thing where we have more people who are trying this than maybe we have before. And so they're kind of like, hey, let me give this band thing a try, this marching band thing a try, or this concert band. And our marching band is not mandatory at our school. And I think we did a good job of recruiting and bringing in more people, but that also means you bring people in who this is very new and different to them. I would say of our freshman class, I bet at least 20 to 30%, and I may be on the low side even there, have never participated in anything outside of just school, like in school stuff. So maybe they've done some clubs or things like that, but never anything that's like a continuous meeting organization.
That's tough to get used to, bands every day, maybe you guys take one day off a week, but I think Brownsburg rehearsed 15 out of 18 days.
Wow.
Last time I checked, it was like they had 2 Sundays off and a random Friday or something. Right. I don't know. It was like, it's homecoming. So yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. It is crazy. And if your job has been, especially through middle school, to go to school for us, it's 8:30 to 3:30, and then you go home, or you might have a random practice or meeting, 1 or 2 days a month. To go from that to marching band is very intense. At the same time, we have other families that are into travel soccer and travel volleyball and travel this and travel that. And that's where they put all of their focus. And so they don't want to even try to do anything else like marching band or whatever. And so it goes right into band class, which is honestly, it's okay. When I tell families, I'm like, for me, it's just important that my kids are doing something.
Yeah.
If they are coming home after school, that to me is the most dangerous thing. Sometimes parents will say, I'm worried about the influences of other kids. Oh no, I'm worried about what they do on their phone at home in their bedroom like that. That's a whole other world.
I love a kid who's been a travel soccer player, and then now they're in marching band. From a visual teacher standpoint, it's like, yes, I'm going to have to work half as hard for that kid because they get it.
I'm finding dance and gymnastics as well.
For sure.
Yeah, like they do a great job. So anyway, let's kind of dive into this. I had some thoughts at the beginning of the year, and we kind of put these notes together and weren't able to come together to talk about them, but I feel like a couple of them are worth mentioning. And this was one that I had to really spend time with this fall, August especially. 1/4 of all freshmen drop out of school. That's a national average. I shouldn't be surprised when some kids choose to quit band.
Drop out of school completely?
Yeah, completely. They always do the look to your left, look to your right. One of those people won't be here at the end of your freshman year. I thought it may have been as high as 50%, but that's not really what it is. The average is closer to more of all the freshmen who go to college in the United States. 1/4 of them will drop out.
Wow.
Now they may go somewhere else later, but this is not talking about transferring. This is I am quitting.
Or your grades are so bad, we're going to suggest you quit. Yeah,
we're going to disinvite you.
Yeah.
But I think that for those of us, like when I come back, whenever I have upperclassmen that choose not to do this again, especially ones I've kind of poured a lot of myself into, and they send me an email, man, that's hard. That is so hard. And I think that when I was reading this statistic, I was like, you know what? Okay, they're at that place where they're going through a lot of things. They're trying to make their own choices. And sometimes parents help guide that. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes it doesn't work for the family. There are a lot of reasons. But at the end of the day, I never am happy to see a kid quit.
No, of course not.
I at least am happy if they're going to do, like I am doing this full out. And okay, you know what? I'm happy for you at that point. We are going to miss you and it will hurt us. I was that line from Ernest Hemingway. Well, actually it's from his book, but it's from a play before. Ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Like, when somebody leaves, we all are affected by it. And man, I think that when I see kids who are great influences who are leaving, boy, that hurts my heart.
There's a few kids who you've kind of suggested that maybe this wasn't the best opportunity for them, right?
There are a few kids who I've said, I want you, but you have to do this, this, and this.
Sure.
If you're not willing to do those things, we can't work together anymore.
Classic boundaries type thing.
Yeah.
If you do this, we could talk about you doing this again. Yeah.
And for me, it's not about talent. It's not even about effort. To me, it's about intent.
Sure.
Like if they are, part of my gig is to try and make fun of people and to try to undermine what you're doing and all that we can't work together.
Yeah.
If you can't play very well, that's my job. I have one Grand Nationals with more than 3 kids in the band who barely can march. Yeah.
Like they just enough to not stick out.
Right.
Just enough to where you're not like, wow, that person just fell. But it's you can let any kid finish out the season and do their absolute best and still be successful.
I have a young man right now that's marching with us, and the impression I got from I've observed him about 3 rehearsals, and this was early on. Now I see it. I see the real him. But those first 3 rehearsals, I saw confusion, lack of effort, kind of overwhelmed. And then I was talking to another student, and she happened to mention his name. And I was like, yeah, tell me about him. I don't know him. I'm in a couple of classes, and we start each class with good things. Tell us something good that's going on in your life. And, it's a really cool way that we've all starting our classes now. But she said every day it's something about band with him.
Wow.
It's about something you've said. It's about something one of the instructors said. It's about something one of the other kids said. It's about him figuring something out. It's like literally, this was on a Wednesday. Literally the last 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, it has been about band. And I started looking at him differently. And it's like, oh gosh, yeah, I get it. Cool.
Do you remember when we did the podcast about the interventions?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're struggling with any of this, as a band director, go back and listen to, it was the uncool list.
The uncool list.
Yeah. Like somebody who's uncooperative is a different way of, you have to use different interventions with somebody who's uncooperative and somebody who's uncaring and somebody who is unable.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be a good one to go back and listen to.
That would be great. I'm going to go into the next one. I'm still a good band director, even if certain families don't think the kind of band we have created is good. The reason I say that is because I've had a lot of self-awareness kind of things. I was struggling. I was, as most people know from the podcast, I'm in therapy, and I had a couple of parents really upset about something early on, and I let it just completely destroy me. And I was talking to my therapist, and he actually knows my work. He's seen our band and all those things. And he was like, so you're telling me that these 3 parents are going to undermine the last 24 years of accomplishments, of things that you've done, of kids you've touched? Like that's all been a lie. But these 3 parents, their awareness or their perception undermines all of that. Like, no, he goes, and actually, if you think about it, their perceptions aren't even really calling into question your abilities. It's calling into question this one policy or this one event. And so the parents weren't doing anything wrong. It was the way I was approaching it. I think any of us, when we get a parent email, it's like, oh my God, oh, here we go.
Immediately get on the defensive.
Here we go. Yeah. And if they even say, I'd like to sit with you, I'd like to meet with you. I've come to the place where I'm happy about that now, because I know more often than not, and Jeff, I learned it from you. You would say, before we begin, let's both go ahead and agree. We want the absolute best for your student. You want the best for your child. I want the best for my student. So we want the
number one thing
game.
I took out of all professional development at Carmel High School over 20 years was that whoever, I don't even know who came in and told me that, but I was like, thank you.
Yeah, that has come in because it starts the meeting in the right place. And even then it'll be a little testy for about 10 minutes. And I've learned to sit and listen. And then just start to ask questions. I want to make sure I understand you. You're saying it feels like this. Am I interpreting that right? And usually they'll say a little bit more. They'll maybe even say the same thing over again. But then it comes down to, it's this part that we disagree on. So I can tell you where that comes from and what that is. You then have to decide if you're going to follow that, or if you're going to remove yourself, or if you're going to adapt or whatever. And it doesn't become a me against them thing. It becomes an us against a roadblock kind of thing.
Yeah. But that feeling never goes away. At least when I was teaching in the classroom, it never went away when my department chair said, hey, tell me about this situation. And then she would name a student, and I'd be like, pit of my stomach drops. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh boy, what is this about? And then you start thinking it through, and you're like, okay, yeah, if I talk to the parent, it'll be fine. But if we email back and forth, this is going to turn into a disaster. Right. You're like, this is a simple explanation. We're all going to be fine at the end of this. But for that one moment, it's like that icky, gross, awful feeling in your stomach. It's hard to not feel that way.
No. And I say this especially to new teachers, but I think all of us who've been, and this is year 25 5 or 6 for me. I stopped counting a while ago. But
Yeah.
I think we get to a place where we think that we'll get over that or it gets easier. It doesn't, because you care. If it ever gets to a place where you're like, I don't care if I meet with this parent or not, get out. Like
Yep.
that's when the tides have turned and something there or you need to make a significant change in the approach or in where you are.
I think if I just printed off the 100 emails I've gotten from students who are at Indiana University or Notre Dame or wherever they are, and they're like, hey, I'm taking anatomy and physiology class and I'm tutoring all my friends because your class taught me so much. If I just printed all those off over 20 years and put them up on my wall, it'd be a lot easier to get that phone call about, the student who said to their parents that I said something that got taken out, like
Yeah.
some convoluted story about, and you're like, no, I just want them to do their homework, or I want
Right.
them to come prepared with their etude or whatever, you just need to put those on the wall.
I think we have to understand too that parents are scared. At the heart of all of this, when they see a poor grade in, like, we use Power School so parents could see the grades really as they're entered. When they see a bad grade, their mind goes to, okay, well, this means this kid's going to fail. What if they're not smart? What if something's wrong with them? What if they can't get into college? What if they can't get a job? What if they can't? And like, though there are certain parents, and I would say many parents, who go down that road, just like we do with our bands, right? Somebody said that we weren't playing well in tune. Like, well, then I must be terrible, and there must be this, and we get really bent out of shape. It's why we don't want other people to come into our band rooms to listen and evaluate. Well, that's what parents feel like when we evaluate them and they're found lacking or wanting. And I'm talking about the student, not the parent. That's a whole other ball of wax. But when they think their student is lacking, I think also one of the other fears is they think that they've done something wrong. Like the parent has done something wrong to not prepare their child for what's going on right now. I think you see a lot of that. And then I think you see the opposite of where it's like they've got to figure it out on their own. Where neither one of those is correct. We have to find that middle ground of, I'm here to help you navigate dealing with this adult or this teacher or this parent or this peer. And let's talk through how we can do that. Not, I'm going to call a principal, or it's up to you. You're on your own, bud.
Yeah. I wish I could send a message to every parent in the United States and say, talk to your teacher first.
Mm-hmm.
Just talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't send an angry email. Just like, hey, can we talk for a second? Talk to your teacher. It's gonna work out 99% of the time. There is no reason to email a department chair or vice principal or a superintendent unless it escalates through every step. It's like there is a chain of command here, right? And if you're not happy with the meeting we just had, talk to my direct supervisor. Sure, but golly, it used to be my first principal at Carmel High School would straight up tell parents, I will not meet with you if you haven't talked to the teacher.
Right.
And I will not meet with you if you haven't talked to the department chair. And I just really appreciated that because it gives, validates the fact that, most of the time you can work this out real easily. We both want this child to succeed, and we might disagree about certain methods, but at the end of the day, like, okay, difference of opinion, it's fine. Most of the time the teacher did not cuss out the student or throw a stapler at them, right. Or, the student's uncomfortable, not.
Yeah. The law needs to be involved. Like there's a difference.
Yeah. It's like, uncomfortable is fine. Unsafe is not.
There you go.
You talk about that.
There you go.
It's like there's a big difference there.
So this next one for me is important. And as my coaching clients can tell you, we've talked about this a lot in the last week and a half because a lot of contests have happened. And so we're getting that first set of feedback, just like we're talking about. The parents fear that the feedback means that they're doing something bad. Band directors hear feedback and they think they must be terrible. And that's not it. Just as with programs for success, remember our program for success is You define success for your program. It's the same thing for the band director. I have to define what success means for me. If it is getting a superior at a contest, I have very little control over that. I drive the bus. It's sort of like when I see crew, the rowers out in the streams or the lake, not the streams, that'd be dumb, but in the rivers
Yeah.
and lakes and ponds and all those kinds of things. There's the one person that's kind of guiding the rhythm of what's going on, but every person with an oar is controlling the speed and the direction in which they're going. And if their pace gets out of whack, if their rhythm gets out of whack, if their awareness gets out of whack, they send the whole boat careening. That one person keeping the rhythm, that one, captain of the ship, really has nothing to do with the speed and direction except coordinating those things.
That's a great point.
Does that make sense? So me saying my band has to get a superior or get invited to this or win that is basically like the captain saying, hey, I don't care what the rest of you do. I'm going to make us win this race. Well, that's dumb.
Yeah.
That's dumb.
It's not possible.
No, absolutely. So understanding that our success could be, hey, whatever happens at this contest, I'm going to be calm and cool about it. Whatever happens at this contest, I'm going to remember the things that we said we want to do. I had one band director who was like, man, we've been doing great rehearsals. Things have been going really well. And the contest didn't go the way that they wanted it to. And so I said, okay, so now Thursday we said, man, everything's great. Everything's in place. Sunday can't bring, everything's terrible. We should burn it to the ground. Like the real truth is that it's in the middle of those two things. Everything isn't fine, but it's not terrible.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out what are the things we need to address first. And what are the things that we need that we can address easiest? I go about it both ways. Like, what are the big wins that we need to get? Like, usually, for example, the first 30 seconds of the show. You and I both know if that doesn't go well, it's hard for the rest of it to be perceived as going well.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. And then,
or like electronics don't turn on.
Yeah. I've been offering up my prayers to the electronics gods and sacrificing any freshman that I can to appease them. But we do all the stuff and it's still, it is what it is. We've all been in those contests. I think even some of those great bands will tell you, we've had electronics problems. When Kevin Ford tells me they have electronics problems, I'm like, well, then I'm okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Bill Harloff, who's,
Matt's dad,
the grandfather of marching band, so to speak. He, he is, just bleeds black and gold. His son, Matt, has just had all the success at Avon World. So anyway, he taught camp with us and, when Jordan Lalama was at Broken Arrow and Chris was at Broken Arrow, I remember we were at Grand Nats and we took a picture and it was Bill and Jordan and Chris and I, and we're all smiles, pre-awards.
Yes.
We'd all just had our shows and we were just like, we all defined success as what we just did. We were all like, our bands were completely successful. And then like
the numbers
10 minutes later, it's like awkward and silent and quiet. It's like, I don't remember who won that year, but I just remember, I think it was Broken Arrow. Cause I remember Jordan came on the RV afterwards and everyone was just like, not ready to talk about it. It's like, we were so happy 20 minutes ago.
I know.
What are we doing here?
What is good is, as with all things, time away brings reflection. And sometimes when we just jump right into the next thing, we can't process. Like I love that my kids are excited to get into concert band full time, full steam ahead. Like, for example, we'll have several days a week. We have 4 concert bands, and the third band, we do a lot of fundamental work. But on the Wednesdays and Thursdays, at least, we'll do straight up concert rehearsal the whole time. And I love seeing them get excited about that. At the same time, I don't want to end the marching season or the concert season or the jazz season without saying, hey, what worked and what didn't work, everybody? Like, what was your favorite? If you could go back and tell yourself something at the beginning of the season that you've learned now, what would you wish you could change?
Do you have your students write about it at the end of the season?
We have done that before on a Google form. I wish I could figure out a way to so that they could keep it. because this is more for me. But as we're talking about it right now, it's like I have some of those things from school that I wrote down and said, if I could go back and start my performance degree over again, I would practice more. I mean, like that's the thing. But I think that the idea of reflection, and especially saying, okay, what did we learn? Because if we just spent 6 months doing marching band and we're no better, we've really messed up. We've really messed up. We may not have
It's
won
almost
everything.
like you need to print it in duplicate, turn one into you, and put one in an envelope, and you hand it back to them when they arrive next spring or whatever. Because I remember I was having a talk with the Brownsburg leadership kids before this season started, and I was like, remember when we had this one rehearsal? It was like everything was perfect. Like literally everything went perfectly, and you were quiet and focused, and we got so much better. And they were like, yeah, that was awesome. And I was like, why didn't that happen more often?
Right.
If it happened more often, you wouldn't remember that one perfect rehearsal day, right? And they were like, yeah, good point. And then, but like, what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And if you don't talk about it, maybe it just goes away. I don't know.
No,
it's real. Reflection's important. And I think it's something that most teachers forget to do.
Yes, absolutely. Especially when we get to a certain age.
That's why we spent all of the Director Academy last year talking about it. Right. Nola had such a great idea on that. She's like, we're going to talk about reflection every day.
Yes.
How do you do it? When do you do it? Why do you do it?
We're overwhelmed with information. And we've gotten to the point where we just sort of let it slide right through our brain. And I'm guilty of it. I've, had, hey, we talked about this earlier today. And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, we did. But I hadn't processed it to be able to run with it later than that. So yeah. I think you're right on track now. I think you're right on track. I thought the last thing here was something that I came up with, but it's important. The search for peace and the search for comfort are not the same thing.
What's that mean?
Peace suggests fulfillment. Comfort suggests complacency. We have to remind ourselves of that as well as students. Sometimes we're like, we didn't have any parent emails, so this was a success. That's comfortable. Maybe there were no parent emails because you've made it such an environment that they don't feel like they can voice their opinions. And instead of voicing opinions, they just leave. Whereas I think the search for peace is, I'd like to find what works for me that also works for you, that also works for our music. I think that those are two different things. And I said it because I think sometimes in the search for peace, there is frustration. Like I think that there's sometimes we have to try, like, hey, we're going to try this method at rehearsal. Oh, crap, that didn't work. Okay, never mind, everybody. Just go back and try this. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. And we tell the kids it's okay for them to fail sometimes and make a mistake. We have to remember that it's okay for us to do that too. Or else we're liars.
I mean, like Ultimate Drill Book, the students, most of the students I work with have Ultimate Drill Book, and comfortable is, hey, use it whenever you want. It's okay. Just pull it out. If you want to check your dot, it's fine. It's in your app. You've got all this information. Isn't it nice? That's so comfortable and so complacent. And so no one's going to do it. No. Right. And so what you really want is let's make a process where we all pull it out when we get to our dot, if, this sort of rehearsal. Right. And then we just look at it. And even if we know what our side decided, we just check it and then we put it away.
Right.
And then, but that's setting a standard or setting a process or whatever that's not comfortable, but it's not mean.
No.
It's not out of the ordinary to expect somebody to stand on a correct dot.
Let me flip that a little bit and say we do that a lot with music too, because we use Beam through UDB.
Yeah.
And Lady Radicke, who runs all of our music stuff through here, she will say, stand still. Like we'll be doing some visual stuff. And she's like, okay, eyes up here. Everybody take out your phone. Look at measure 46. What do you see here? and she'll go through that, and she'll oftentimes go, okay, we just learned this. That didn't sound good. Check your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'll pull that out and they'll look at the music, and then we'll say, we want to see you mark it, because you can mark things there. Whenever I hear band directors say, remember to mark that next time, you might as well have done. I know pi out to 72 places. Let me recite it for you. I don't care. I'm not going to listen to that, and I won't remember any more of them past 3.14. Okay, I'm done. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah, we set up processes and procedures that are, help us have more peace, because our peace comes from, as we getting better sometimes, right? And I know that gives me peace, where I see progress and I see things getting better, and I make a comment and the student says thank you, or like, okay. And like that gives me peace, even though I'm not like meditating and I'm not home on the couch with a cocktail. That's a different kind of peace. But like for me, peace is like I'm making a difference, and this in this student's life in this small way right here.
That's
and fulfilling. I don't really care if they're comfortable,
right? That's
or even
fulfilling.
if I'm comfortable. That's fulfilling and peaceful for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I think if we can keep that, especially at these really trying times in our seasons and our careers, then we can last longer, because as with all seasons, they pass. And, I think Greg Bim would say this very often. It used to drive me nuts, but he was so true. This too shall pass.
Oh, yeah.
And that's positive and negative. The kind of euphoric, like, hey, we got this. We finally got this to work. Oh, my gosh. Well, they'll do something boneheaded in 2 days and you'll be right back in it.
Yep.
But I think knowing that even these really tough times will go, if you approach them the right way, if you remember who you are, if you remember why we do this, then you can define what the success is. And then those really tough seasons of maybe harsh criticism from parents or adjudicators or administrators, it passes as long as you process it the right way. What can I take from this? Like, I don't agree with that at all. Okay, don't do it.
Yeah.
Unless it's unsafe or whatever. Come on, we all know that.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then don't do it. I know I could hear, what? I just heard all the band directors in the room just going like, yeah, but our administration makes us do this. Get smart about it. We have to do these PLC meetings every week. And it's supposed to be this timed place where, well, none of my administrators listen to this. It's a time where me and Lainey and Matthew, the band directors, get together and formally say, how are grades going? How is curriculum going? How is this? We don't have a particular time where we sit down and just do that. But I can tell you, we talk about that every week, and I can summarize it. So I literally have on my tasks app that every Tuesday that link comes up and I fill it out with what we just talked about in the last few days. Like that would be a pain in my butt to go and try and find that email, remember every Tuesday to do it, ask them to come and sit. No, I don't need to do that. I can be, and what's great is I do work at a school that is fine with that they just want the conversations happening and us to be intentional about it. And I can appreciate that.
Yeah. And it happens a lot more in the band world than in the classroom teaching world. Just, your average math teacher isn't getting together with the other math teachers and talking about what went well this week, what didn't go well, what are we preparing for, how are we going to prepare for it, what do we do if we don't do well on this assessment, but band directors, choir people, orchestra people, they're like constantly talking to their colleagues about what else do we need to do to prepare for this weekend,
right?
And how are we going to get there, what are we going to do if we don't score well or do well, or I think PLCs is already happening on the daily in a lot of band rooms.
Yes.
I think this is why a lot of music teachers get annoyed with professional development when you're told you have to do something, because you're like, hold up, we're already doing a lot of stuff that other people aren't doing.
Yes.
Okay. This is a different world over here.
Now, to speak to our lone gunman band directors out there that are by themselves, that's the time where it's like, hey, can I have lunch with the choir and orchestra teacher? Can I have lunch with some trusted friends?
Yeah.
Can I even do FaceTime with somebody once a week? I'll throw this out there. I hope this is okay. I'm part of the Servant Leadership Association for Music. Tim Watson Heiser, Scott Rush,
Yeah.
several people.
Slam,
Slam, yeah. And we have meetings every other Sunday night, and it's one of the most uplifting things that I get to do. It's at 8:00 Eastern, and at 7:30, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I've got to do this, and I come out of it at 9:00, like, okay, I'm ready for Monday now.
Let's go.
Yeah. It's just I feel so depleted, and I think I just want to rest. Resting often doesn't rest us, but like nourishing ourselves, replenishing ourselves, that does. And so, like, for example, last week we had Mike Howard from TMEA. He's the new deputy director of TMEA and fantastic band director, talking about communication. And he said like 2 or 3 things that really hit me hard. And then Cecilia Clark from Georgia had this one thought that she brought up about how she talks about, if you're carrying water and someone bumps into you, what do you spill? Water. If you're carrying chocolate and somebody bumps into you, what do you spill? Chocolate. She goes, if somebody bumps into you as a marching band member, concert band member of our organization, what spills out? I've never thought about that before, because what we put in, what we are carrying, is exactly what will spill out. So if we are carrying all this negativity and like, man, this is terrible and this is awful, that's what's going to spill out whenever we have a hard situation. Right? Like I've never thought about that before. Yeah. I think having those things, maybe it's Slam, maybe it's, a PLC, maybe it's just your regional band director group. Just like, man, we got to communicate at least once every other week. I think twice a month. If I don't check in with my therapist, with my colleagues, it gets bad and things get dark. But as soon as I do, like in talking to Jeff today, I feel better. He can tell you, he opened up the screen and I looked like death warmed over. I was ready to be done.
Are you sure you're ready to do this?
And the answer was no, I wasn't. But I would not be ready unless I did it.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we have to go with this.
Yeah. And I think we should do this more often, Bobby.
I do too. If nobody listens, it doesn't matter. This is just as good as therapy for me.
I mean, it's been 3 months since we did one of these, and it's not because we didn't try, but my son Connor came home from overseas, and that messed up one of them, and I forget what messed up the other one that we tried, but
there was a meeting that you were on that went way long.
That went long. Yep, that's true.
Yeah,
that happens occasionally.
Jeff, what is cool, I have to say, I joke about the 12 people that are listening. But I was in North Dakota a couple of weeks ago, and they found me through the podcast here. And so it was funny. The band director was introducing me to the kids. He was like, yeah, I'm one of 12 people who listen to the podcast. But what was cool is like 2 of those directors, there were about 9 total in this meeting. About 2 of them were like, yeah, we listen to this every time. When are you guys going to do another one? I hope we make you laugh. I hope we make you realize you're not alone. And I hope we make your day a little bit better.
I think that's the main thing why we do this. It's not that we're, oh gosh, we have to get this knowledge out there. It's like, no, I think people need to have their band therapist every once in a while. if that's what we are, we're completely untrained as therapists. Seek medical attention.
Yes, exactly.
We really need help. But
if this is an emergency, hang up and dial 911.
But I just looked it up, Bobby. There were 420 people who listened to the last one, so it's a little bit more than 12. 12. That was just in the first 30 days. So
that's awesome. We thank you all very much, and we
do.
We will do everything we can to bring more of whatever this is to you more often.
Yeah. And I hope I run into some people at shows. We're about to be going to shows a lot.
Yes.
My wife and I are going to Oklahoma this weekend for the Yukon show.
I'm going across the street to the Wando High School Low Country Invitational.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So you guys run that?
What's a BOA affiliate?
Oh, cool.
There it is.
Cool.
But yes, we do. We do run that.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck.
Thank you. I hope to not get hurt. I hope for not rain. So
yeah. And everybody out there, don't worry about what horn rank says. Everybody I talk to right now is talking about their placements on horn rank, and like, okay,
I had a parent reach out and say, "Hey, we're a band to watch." Like who's not? Like who's not that? Like I don't want to watch any of these bands. I just want come on.
Yeah.
It is a little nerve wracking, especially because we had our first BOA regional last weekend, and people are like, find a video of this. You know what? I'm like, I've got a little baritone player who cannot stay in step. I am trying to figure out the 20th version of how to help him do that. I have another one that just cannot help but play his heart out, and I don't want to crush him, but at the same time, I'm like, buddy, you're hurting my ears right now. Like we gotta find something else. Like we gotta figure out how we can do this. So I have bigger fish to fry.
There's a lot more to this than what rank we are at the moment. Every single group. So just don't even worry about it.
Right.
Do your thing. Teach better. You got to march better and play better. That's all this time of year.
To quote Jarrell Horton, the great philosopher, politician, and band director from Vestavia Hills and former podcast guest of ours, you do you, boo.
You do you, but I love that.
I know he's the best. So much. All right, Jeff. Well, it was great seeing you and great getting to chat for a little while. And we better wrap this up. So
until next time, this is That Band Life. Thanks for being here. I don't know if that's how we usually do it.
I think I say, and I'm Bobby Lambert, and you say,
and I'm Jeff Young. Okay, bye.
We're terrible.
Bye.
Bye.